I don't know about you, but I think I'd be lost without my phone. For me, my phone is actually an indispensable tool. It's a mini computer in my pocket. I use it for work a lot, for emails, for messaging clients, and for research. I also use it for maps, for taking photos and videos of my kids, for keeping in touch with my family in other countries, and for reading the news. And of course, I also use it for social media, but my social media use is very limited compared to other people half my age. For example, I spend a total of 27 minutes on Facebook, 19 minutes on TikTok, and just 8 minutes on Instagram in the whole of last week. However, I have a confession to make. Although I don't watch a lot of TV, I'm an avid YouTube watcher. I love all the science and curiosity channels. I tend to listen to them like a podcast while I'm working, and I watch them when I go for a morning dog walk. I rack up about 2 to 3 hours a day on average, which is a lot when you think about it. It's quite a lot. Even though most of it is listening and I'm not actually watching it, it's still something that I switch on and I engage with. So this is what I decided. I decided to try and swap out my daily dose of YouTube for audiobooks instead, from Monday to Friday. So this is going to be a 5-day experiment. I'm going to vlog this, so if it's rubbish, excuse my vlogging because I don't really have practice in vlogging, but let's see how it goes. I'm really curious about this experiment. So I generally decided that I'm going to swap my YouTube watching for something like audiobooks from Audible. To my surprise, there's actually quite a few books that I never actually finished listening to. So this experiment, it kind of allows me to go back in time a little bit and finally finish some of these books. And today's the first day, so I'll see how it goes. The idea behind this whole experiment is that you're swapping the screen time and doing something different on a intellectual or even emotional level, something like reading books or listening to books. Day number 2 of the challenge. Good morning. I can see that this is going to be a fairly easy challenge. I don't really see how giving up phone for a few days, and swapping some screen time for books is difficult. So I'm going to enjoy it today. So everything was going great the first day, and the second day I even started listening to another book on top of the first one. Yesterday evening I totally fell off the wagon when I had to do some research for YouTube and then like a couple hours on TikTok. I'm gonna have to rethink how I'm structuring my day now, because this is one of the things when you deal with YouTube or video production or social media, that it's very, very easy to fall off the wagon and lose your focus. I daily see people on social media who spend, let's say, 16 hours a week on TikTok, and that's not something that I want to do. And this challenge is actually to try and change that. So I'm gonna have to try and do better. So it's day number 5, the last day of the experiment, of this 5-day experiment. I honestly had to skip yesterday because, Christmas time and kids, it was just too busy. One thing that this made me realize is that I actually have a much bigger appreciation for the time that I usually waste on the phone. Normally I don't really use screens that much. I don't really go and watch TV. I don't play games as much as I used to, but I do spend a lot of time on YouTube. I do spend a lot of time, researching things. And I realized that there's just so many times when I don't actually have to research things. I don't have to be there. I can sit down and write things on paper. So stripping down and going back to basics is quite refreshing. And since this is the start of a new year, this is something you should focus on. All right. So let's talk about my experience. What I really wanted to do was to do it for myself, but I also wanted to do it for my kids. If I'm limiting their screen time, I think it's only fair that I limit my own. So what I'm going to try and do from now on is maybe keep my phone for work use and disregard it as an entertainment device and look for entertainment elsewhere. This is the interesting part because it also opened up some conversations with my kids about the topic of screen time. They wanted to know why I was doing this and what sort of books I was listening to. And through these conversations, I feel like my kids actually started to understand more about the impact of screen time on their own well-being. Look, all kids need realistic boundaries and limitations in order to thrive. None of us would disagree with this, right? What I found was that there are definitely times when my kids try to push those boundaries, those limits, and test them. Just 5 more minutes, just one more cartoon. But I'm trying to get them to a point where they would not only understand that moderation is the key, but that they would actually self-moderate. They would learn how to do that. What I want to try to avoid is my kids spending a third to half of their day on their phones rather than actually living their own lives. Right now, if I didn't have screen time limits set up for their phones through FamiSafe, then they would happily spend their time watching cartoons or playing games on Xbox. But slowly I'm starting to see that once their screen time is up, and sometimes even before it's up, one of them will ask the other to actually go and play outside. Sometimes outside with friends, sometimes a game in the house together, but it doesn't really matter. They're already seeking for ways to entertain themselves other than through phones. So some days they don't even bother to watch TV or play games, which is pretty amazing. You know, it's something that we all want. So even though we decided to set up the FamiSafe app while they're still quite young, it was because we wanted to get them used to limits set and also to understand that, you know, there has to be moderation to everything, and also to protect them from some of the content on Snapchat and TikTok. Look, my eldest son is almost 11. I want to make sure that he's ready for it. Not only for limiting his time, but also for the emotional toll that social media can take on a young person. Not just the anxiety. I'm not talking just about the anxiety, but also cyberbullying elements too. You know, there's just so much of it these days. These are the things that I never had to deal with when I was at his age, when I was a teenager. But look, if you want to know more about the FamiSafe app and all the amazing things that it does, then head over to the description. I'm gonna put the link to Wondershare website over there, and I'll actually put it on the screen too. And I promise you that it's worthwhile. It's a game changer for sorting out your family's digital well-being. And let me know what you think about this experiment, whether it's something that you would try. Is it something that you have maybe already tried? Pop a comment below and let us know your thoughts, and consider maybe subscribing to this channel for more family-friendly advice. You know, this is the type of content that we make, and we have amazing plans for this year. So stick around, press that bell so that you get notified of all of our future content, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.